In this video, let's have a look on how to solve the most common sculpting problem, or in other words, one issue that causes sculpting problems. So let's assume you're either building your base mesh, which we will take a look in the next chapter, or you are adding some objects to your sculpting. Let's say I hit Shift A, go to mesh and add a simple UV sphere. Now let's scale it down. Maybe move it up here. And this should be a horn, so I make it a bit longer, something like this. Let's move it over here and maybe let's add a subsurf modifier with 2 subdivisions and then let's apply it over here. Now let's switch over to sculpt mode and first of all we can see this warning message down here. Object has non-uniform scale, and one other weird thing is that my sculpting brush is stretched, and also when I sculpt here everything is stretched. This is super weird, but it has a clear reason. Let's go back to object mode. Let's add a new sphere. And before I do anything with that, let's press N and open up the sidebar. And you can see the scale of the object is set to 1, 1, 1 by default. That means whenever we add a new object, Blender remembers the default scale of the object. And now when I scale something in object mode, you can see how this scale is changing. And if I change something along a specific axis, only X, Y, or Z is changing. Let's get rid of this sphere here and let's click on that one. And you can see the scale is non-uniform on this one. If I hit Alt S to scale it back to the original scale, you can see Blender remembered the original scale of the object. However, now I've scaled this to this long stretched form, and now I want to tell Blender this is the new default scale. And this we can easily do by pressing Ctrl A to open up the Apply menu and click on Scale. You can see the shape is staying exactly the same, however the scale value is back at 111. So we told Blender this is our new default scale. That means if I press Alt S, nothing happens, or if I change the scaling now and press Alt S to go back to the default scale, you can see the shape is now like that. And most important, if I now switch over to sculpt mode, you can see my brush is now a perfect circle and the sculpting acts as it should be. So that means in general, when you put your objects together, your base meshes or adding objects, always hit Ctrl A and apply the scale.